Joining us now live to dig a little deeper is the host of Whiskey Politics, Dave Sussman. Dave, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Christina, for having me.
Okay, so this isn't anything new. These allegations against Jeffrey Epstein are not new allegations. They've been floating around on internet forums for years now. Why was this story? Why weren't these allegations ever picked up by the mainstream media and made public?
Yeah, this is a huge story, and it sounds like it could be, a bizarre conspiracy subject of Hollywood books, films. The fact is that it's now getting attention is actually a huge win, and it's obviously a win for the victims, but also for those on the right that have been reporting this Epstein story for years, but were marginalized by the mainstream media as alt-right extremists or some such nonsense. It all started with independent journalist Mike Cernovich, who, along with his social media followers, funded his lawsuit that ordered the unsealing of documents in the Epstein case. And this led to the chilling reports, as you just played, by the Miami Herald, whose articles and disturbing videos circulated the internet, which, if you watch the entire thing, will make you sick when you see how young these little girls were. I mean, 7th and 8th graders, for crying out loud. Whatever's one opinion of Cernovich, and he certainly has his detractors, this wouldn't have happened without his efforts. So I think it's important people understand the power of independent journalists who take risks both personally and financially against influential people like this sicko Epstein, whose friends could crush anyone who threatens to expose them. And that's probably what stopped this from coming out earlier.
Okay, we just had this Me Too movement too, right? This movement was huge. It gained a lot of momentum. It had national attention. It seemed that anybody and everybody with a sexual claim against somebody came out. It was publicized. It was everywhere. This was a big deal. Hashtag Me Too. Why wasn't this case, these allegations brought up? Where were the advocates of Me Too with this during that time?
Yeah, Christina, this is incredible. Think about this for a moment. If a conservative politician or any conservative hung around with other powerful conservatives and was reported to do what Jeffrey Epstein was arrested for, he's accused of having trafficked dozens of little girls for sex with himself and powerful men in Florida and New York and his private island in the Caribbean. Many were underage who've come forward and all suggested the same story. They've all come from troubled homes. Listen, if you read this, it sounds like hell on earth for these little girls. The Lolita Express, this jet that Epstein flew, powerful people, a widely used term, by the way, for the plane. It was out there. People talked about it. And the left didn't think this was worthy of a story. The guest logs that have been public show Bill Clinton. He'd sometimes go alone without his Secret Service agents. Why would a former president go without his Secret Service agents? Other luminaries such as Prince Andrew. But this was a non-story from the usually vocal advocates for women. Where was the press conferences? Where was Kirsten Gillibrand or Alyssa Milano asking questions? Where was and is Gloria Allred?
Okay. Talking about women, we're talking about political ties here. I want you to take a look at this tweet put out by Christine Pelosi, who is the daughter of Nancy Pelosi, the Speaker of the House. It says, "This Epstein case is horrific and the young women deserve justice. It is quite likely that some of our faves are implicated, but we must follow the facts and let the chips fall where they may, whether on Republicans or Democrats." What does she mean by this? You just alluded to Bill Clinton a little bit, but are there some prominent politicians, businessmen, royalty who visited Epstein's island that should be worried?
Look, there's no doubt that as this unravels, there's a lot of very powerful people who will stop at nothing right now to prevent Epstein from divulging the names of those who are part of this. In fact, Cernovich, another thing that he just did, he reported that an anonymous man hired Robert Mueller and James Comey's lawyer to file a brief of, quote, unquote, friends of the court to keep Jeffrey Epstein's case sealed. And it goes deeper. People are really scared right now. Comey's daughter is the lead prosecutor in this case. How did that happen? Maureen Comey, daughter of fired FBI disgraced FBI director James Comey, a woman who wore T-shirts at the Women's March with Hillary Clinton and Ruth Bader Ginsburg, Elizabeth Warren on her shirt. It beggars the mind how incestuous this whole thing is. But here's why these rich and powerful people, and men mostly, are probably losing a lot of sleep right now. Epstein is reported to have filmed his guests and can use this and possibly has used this as leverage in reducing any sentence. And insiders that I'm talking with right now have legitimate concerns about a cover-up for Clinton and a trap for Trump, which the media don't seem to differentiate. Trump's comment about Epstein was well before any of this was known. And, he got kicked out of Trump world immediately. But the question is, will Mueller's universe, with Comey's daughter prosecuting, find a way to keep Epstein's clients out of legal trouble once again?
Well, that's the biggest question, right? He's a billionaire, all the influence you just talked about. How possible do you think that is? Do you think, hopefully with the video evidence, that the lid's going to get blown off of this thing? Or do you think he's going to be able to continue to use his power and his influence to shape the result of this case?
It depends on where this is going to be heard. I mean, if it's going to be in the Southern District of New York, you've got Comey's daughter there, or is it going to be in the FBI where Mueller is overseeing this? I don't know. It's extremely incestuous. You have too many people that have too much power, and they're all the names that we know about going back to the deep state here. So are they looking to protect themselves? And how many of these names are actually on this list?
Right. All right. Disturbing stuff here. Thank you so much, Dave. And you can catch Whiskey Politics with Dave Sussman on AmericasVoiceNews.com daily at 6 p.m. Eastern.